I'm actually in the midst of an email discussion/argument right now with a preacher who has been using the song catalog of the Beatles as a sermon series to reach the lost for Christ. And when I took the time to point out that John Lennon was a raving atheist,
Yeah.
and that in his song God, which was on his first solo album, he actually denounced Jesus and the Bible. And I sent him those lyrics and said, really? This is the guy you're going to use as your touchstone for Christianity, for the unbelieving world? But his justification is along the lines of, but these are the people who said, all you need is love, you know? And what do you think it means when Paul McClarty wrote, say the word is love? What does that mean? Love, love, love. He is justifying using one of the most fleshly, anti-God, atheistic songwriters in history, John Lennon, who once said, we're bigger than Jesus, which caused him all sorts of flap. He's justifying using that man's lyrics and songs in church as a tool to preach the gospel on the basis of the fact that John talked about love, because this man has deified love and made it God's greatest attribute. And because he believes that love is God's greatest attribute, he thinks that anybody who writes about love can therefore be used as a tool to tell people about God. God never approached people that way. God approaches people on the basis of, I'm holy, and don't you forget that. Amen. And if God is in fact holy first, if that is his primary attribute, if that's your starting point for God, then yes, you can say God is love. I agree, God is love, but love is not God. Do not deify love, because then you end up saying that somehow John Lennon is a usable tool to promote Christianity, because he said, all you need is love. Yeah, all you need is love. That's wrong. All you need is love? That's not true. Plenty of humans will love other humans a whole lot and wind up under God's judgment. No. All you need is grace and mercy and forgiveness. All you need is Christ and his finished atoning work. And because of that, you'll learn what love is. And you'll learn that God is love, in that he loved you enough to save and redeem you. But do you think when he's sending people to, let's see, the lake of fire, where the smoke of their torment rises up forever, that they'll be joining together in the chorus, all you need is love? Do you think they'll be testifying to the love of God? No, but what they will be testifying to is he's holy. He's a righteous judge. He's holy, we're sinful. And God starts right out with Moses before he does anything else with him by declaring, don't come near here, I'm holy. Now that's really, really important, because what that means is sinful fleshly humans cannot approach a holy God. So what are you going to do about that? I mean, this is the very essence of the human condition and the human problem, and why the gospel is so vitally important. God is absolutely holy, and his holiness demands righteous judgment. And at this point, he's talking to a murderer. The murderer can't get to God, so God came to the murderer. The murderer couldn't ever reach up to heaven to pull God down and speak to him. So what did God do? God comes down and speaks to the murderer. That's grace. And then he explains who he is. Don't approach me, I'm holy. Take off your shoes. The very fact that I'm here makes this holy ground. The first lesson he teaches is, you don't just approach me and run into my presence whenever you want, because I am holy. And until we solve your sin problem, you got no business approaching me. You're going to do things my way. I'm the boss. I'm the holy God. And so what does God do about our sin problem? He sends the Holy One. He sends his Son, who is righteous and holy. And then he, the just one, dies for the unjust, and we receive this imputation of a foreign righteousness, so that when God looks at us, he doesn't see us as sinners. He sees the Son. He sees the one he loves, and he sees the righteousness of the Son imputed to us. And then, unlike the God who says, don't approach me, I'm holy, you have Paul writing, we come running to the throne of grace crying, Abba, Father. What a wonderful transition. It starts with, he's holy, you're a sinner. It ends with, he has to save you because you can't save yourself. And the gospel then kicks right in and says, and he did it in the finished work of Christ. Now come talk to your dad. Isn't that great?